on air.
Best record, does that mean most points?
Most points.
So this is Sabre6 versus Red Alert. So this is the end of the group stage for Group C in the January 2017 Open Tournament. I'm with.
This is Port Nexus, joined by Zorb, Crazy, and Helveticus. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing
pretty well,
all right, man.
Looking
Sure
forward
cue
to
them
a solid
both at
game
the
here.
same time. Alright, in the bottom left we have Red Alert with Yvonne going top lane on Dreadnought, going 4 Gats. Sabre6 going bottom with 1-1 and Hull. Fast forward
And they're
going mid
waiting
with
off.
4-3 Colossus.
Oh shit, no, it's 5v5. My bad.
And coming from the top right corner, we got Sabre6. On the Dread, we got Dark Uncle opening charges. Gimber on the Colo forward 4. Since they got more minerals, J-Quest with the EMP and 1.81 speed, and Sinister with the blink, 1 shot.
With the Void Ray!
Let's see some
Oh
Void
my
Ray action
lord.
tonight, guys.
It's the Void Ray in a 5 vs 5. They're like, oh, Red Alert doesn't have Sonya White, so we're gonna run the Void Ray!
And we have almost a mirror composition here. The only difference is the Void Ray on the bottom for Sabre6.
It is charges versus Gats in the top. Seems like Yvonne is actually winning so far, but he does have to get one more. Dark is staying about even. I think Yvonne is a little ahead. Partly because of
Yeah,
Sonya's
Ivana also has the hull upgrade. If you mouse over the hull, you see the icon's red, which means he's taking 25% less hull damage and has 1,000 more HP, so he's gonna get a pretty good push, as you can see, versus Dark.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that. In the 5 vs 5, the hull with Gats becomes a lot more powerful just because of that little bit of extra minerals.
Yeah.
Now, what I would really like to see from Sinister here, the Sabre6 Void Ray, is to do a lot of back farming. This is where the VR thrives on these 5-on-5 games.
Yeah, totally, man. And especially because Red Team has a pretty slow, tanky comp. Other than getting run down with the Lance, or getting really caught out of position, the Void Ray is gonna kind of have free reign. The only thing that would really pose a threat is Psyblast, and if the Void Ray just plays smart, it can pretty much always get away from an OV. So,
In order to back farm and maneuver effectively, he'd need to get Flux Veins and Warp. Neither of those so far.
That's a great call on from Helveticus. He needs Warp. Sinister needs Warp. He cannot let the Desi's, the tanks, just push him all the way back to base.
Do you stream?
Yeah.
Can you
Welcome,
give
Hawk.
me a link?
Alright,
Yeah,
I've sent
can
you
you
the
give
link, Hawk.
Let me post it on I'll do it. Is it on your Twitch or YouTube?
It's on my Twitch.
Okay.
Hawk, would you like to cast with us?
no, he can't, because
He's not in the game, for one. Makes it hard to cast.
he's also on one of their teams, so that's not, like, appropriate, right?
Well, I mean, the bigger issue is that he can't see what is actually happening in the game. Anyway, Sabre6 is coming out now with bots. He's 222. Amigo Deer is coming out with 2 mutas, and he's up to 375 energy. Fast forward. Let me check.
Wait, you guys, we really can't. Hawk, you gotta get out of the channel, my dude.
Well, I mean, this is Red Alert. It doesn't matter if he knows what's on his team anyway. Fast forward is coming out with Lance, and 400 energy.
User disconnected from your channel.
Yvonne. Wow! Yvonne picked up Siege mode. I'm wondering what he's planning to do with this.
That's going to be a lot of trouble for.
Honestly,
Sabre6.
that might be a really good call.
Right.
Go ahead, Point.
Well, right now, looking at Sabre6's comp, they have really no DPS, no way of stopping Red Alert siege mode. The Void Rays on their farm, zero beam. What can they do?
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Dark is pure
Yeah.
charges.
Wow.
And here's the siege
Alex,
on
They're
the
going
south
for
side.
the
Plague,
easy
here's the
points here.
siege.
At 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
And I think that just caught Sabre6's attention. They are not prepared for this. They're not
Dark and
prepared
Jimbo
at
both
all.
immediately tried to push out, but neither had shields fully.
Very smart.
That's gonna give-
by Red Alert.
But there is
That's
leaking a lot of
aggressive.
farm on bottom, but I
Take
mean,
that
it
top
doesn't
tower.
matter. Ooh,
This
Jimbo
doesn't
is
matter much.
pushing in. But he has to get
This-
siege. Goes right back out. As soon as
The
he
Void Ray
can't
really
do anything
needs to
here, he picked
Oh
up
my
4
gosh.
beams. And this tower is just going to go down. I don't think they can stop it now. Question
would
is,
have
can they
thought?
stop the next one?
That's very clever.
It's
Early
aggressive.
siege. Go for the tower. 7 minutes. Look at this guy.
Now
7
he only has
minutes into the
40
game.
energy right now, so he can't immediately siege back up. So they have about a minute to figure out what to do.
What can they do at this point?
Honestly, they need to send the Void Ray back and just farm
Just
like
farm,
1,000
exactly.
minerals, you know, and then just stall at the tower. Have the Colo get hardened shield. Again, their Destra is really lacking. If they just EMP him every once in a while, he literally will not be able to siege.
Yep.
Hopefully, J Quest is clicking on him. Sees he only has 275, so his regen's gonna be really
Yep,
slow.
there's
And
the
if they can, if they can just draw out the game, the Void Ray can really melt a destroyer or a Colossus for that matter.
Sinister still does not have war. He did pick up Nova. J-Quest is struggling. He picked up 3 shields and 2 lasers before that 400 energy.
What would you guys do
this
if
is
you guys
rough.
were Sabre6?
I definitely had J-Quest pick up Seeker. That would help with a little bit of extra damage against the siege.
Well, I mean, as soon as you see it, I have to imagine I would be saying, J-Quest, you have to save up for Blackout immediately.
And that, yeah, definitely Blackout. Depends on how much farm J-Quest can get on this push.
Jeez, I'd say let the Colo get some farm and get hardened shield,
Yeah, that's going to be really important too.
because that really counters the siege. And if you can get a good amount of energy on a Colo, like 500, 600, he can just go in there and get right in the Destro's face and just lance him and force him to have to use his energy on other abilities and maybe on siege.
Yeah.
I'd also have the Overlord Raider Alex get Psionic Shockwave, which would allow him to push a Siege Destroyer, Siege Dreadnought back out of range.
He has
Just
Yeah.
temporarily.
Now, what do you think is going on with Dark Uncle? He does not have hull, but he picked up 9 armor.
Honestly, it might be a little
I
flustered.
think
Just
the main focus here is to defend the tower, but they're not going to be able to do that. And once Red Alert finishes that tower, they're going to go for the mothership. They're going to have to hold the Alamo, keep it alive. And with that said, I think Dark Uncles are not going to need 9 any more plating. They need some early DPS.
I mean, because he didn't have the 9 fighting when there was the siege mode initially, right? So he got that in response to
yeah.
siege.
Perhaps.
This is a really bad call because the plating is not really going to help you very much against the siege. So, got
J-Quest
44
did get
armor.
Blackout, and his Blackout is up.
Blackout.
He's going to throw it now.
Alright, Jay.
Perfect.
Good
Got
job
Subvert
on
as
Jay's
well.
part. Oh, look at this. They're focusing on the
16.36
dread.
speed.
Will they melt it?
He has no armor on Yvonne. Sanic is low energy. He does have another defensive matrix coming up, but they have
Trevor
They're
moving
getting
around on the top
flanked.
side
Not gonna be enough.
prevents the push from
Jimber is down
going any further.
2,000 shields. J-Quest cannot shield to recharge. Jimber is down to 1,000 shields, but he's out of range of fast forward.
Sabre6 really playing 15 lives.
Jake West wants to get out there and see if he can get another hit on Yvonne, but Yvonne is staying pretty far back.
Meanwhile, Yvonne's about to siege up again. He has 150.
Yep,
There's
here it
the
comes.
This is a matter of survival. If Sabre6 lose this match, they're out of the tournaments for the season.
Yeah, in this matchup, they had to kill all Red Alert ships, or they had to get 5 kills and kill both towers, right? Because they had to not just win, they had to get
no
11
tapping
points.
out.
The bottom tower has fallen.
So they.
Is that right? Did I hear that right? No tapping out, no GGs.
Well, I think that strictly speaking, Sabre6 already knows that. I think they're already out of the tournament, right? Because they lost the tower. Is it based on towers alive or towers killed?
Unless they still
Towers
kill.
killed.
Sinister ends up
Okay,
killing
so they,
most
if
5 ships.
they can turn it around and kill everything, it doesn't matter whether like Red Alert already has 2 points for the 2 towers, right?
Right. But Sabre6 has not lost points.
They only lost 2 towers.
No, they haven't lost any points. They just have given points to Red Alert.
Right. Correct.
So they still haven't really lost this match.
Having
Just down 1,000 farm
Quest gets
and
an
2 towers.
EMP in.
Details.
Good plague from Predator Alex.
And I think what, looking at this now, Praetor Alex just needs to keep plaguing their support ship and then get his health down to red, and maybe perhaps the Void Ray and Cloak and the supports. Which would then enable everyone else to push on the ships, siege in front of their base.
So one thing I'm just thinking about here is that I was talking with Black Magic, and he was complaining that tanks are still too strong. And I was thinking that this is a 5 vs 5, and Red Alert went 3 tanks, Colossus DD. Seems like we're in a point where the meta is favoring. I mean, you're going to see 2 tanks pretty much every match, and then the only question is whether you see 2 or 3. You feel like that's kind of a good place for the meta to be?
I mean,
Well, there
I
are
do
a few
think
ships that are
honestly.
anti-tanks. There is no ship that's truly a tank counter. You could make an argument that an Overlord is a good play against the tank because it can draw its health down, but I don't think that one ship is necessarily strictly anti-tank.
That's a good point. I mean, in some ways, like the nerf to PDD and Force Field should have made it so that Frigate and Rockets would be able to deal more damage, but it seems like Frigate and Rockets kind of can't keep up with, the amount of containment that a double or triple tank allows.
I mean, honestly, I think the 2 biggest or most influential changes that happened from Star Battle to Star Battle X, in my opinion, is the explosive charge on the Dreadnought got like a massive buff from, I think, doing 1200 to 1700, which is really a lot. And then also the Kolo's Lance, scaling with energy, so instead of just doing a set, I think like 1200 or 1400, you'll actually scale up with your energy, and you can get it doing like 2000 plus.
Yeah, like right now it's dealing
Here comes the siege from
1,750.
Ivan.
Yeah, which just means tanks are really well rounded. Not only can they tank, they can also deal a lot of damage.
Well, a tank should be able to deal damage.
I mean, yeah, it should, but it's just... That's just my opinion on the general metagame. Tanks are very strong.
Looks like
There were 20 minutes and
their Colo's diving into the Sabre6 base with an info.
Red Alert has Sabre6 sieged again. Red Alert now ahead by 900 farm.
And 2 towers.
Sky Fury is here for Red Alert. Looking at Carter. the chow. Mothership is still full life, but almost full life anyway. But they're having a really hard time breaking the siege, especially since Blackout is on cooldown for another minute and a half.
They're not letting them Void Ray escape in.
Oh god.
Just explodes.
Wow.
This is too hard to watch.
Yeah.
The beating
But
they're
now,
giving Sabre6.
yeah.
I think beating is an understatement.
Well, I mean, I think this came down to, you know, a lot of the time you can feel like the Void Ray will, you know, as the game progresses, find an opportunity in a 5 vs 5, but it also presents, you know, a tremendous risk, especially against a team like Red Alert, which will, you know, recognize the weakness of the Void Ray, which is the risk of an early game very strong contain. And boy, they just double down on that with the 6-minute siege modes, recognizing that Void Ray is not going to be able to help here at all. And the rest of the team just didn't have enough damage without that 6th ship, without that additional form of denial or damage to
Looks like the
make it
Gargoyles
happen.
went down.
Blackout, but
Sabre6, not ready to give up anytime soon. There's no fight at the better end.
yeah, I think they were also thinking for so long that you know, sometimes teams struggle against Red Alert because they kind of get ready to overcompensate for Sanya, right? They're like, okay, how do we deal with Sanya if Sanya is playing? But then Sanya's not in this game, and they don't need a Void Ray and Sanya to carry them every single game, and a lot of times they won't run a Void Ray. So even though Red Alert is kind of associated with that sometimes, you don't want to underestimate the power of the rest of the team. You know, Amigo on OV, Sanic on Raven, and Ivan, you know, is going to be Dreader Colossus a lot of games. Is there any way that they can avoid this next killing push? Like, the game is going to be over in 2 minutes? Is that your guess?
Unless there's a drastic mistake on Red Alert's part. That's right.
I mean, with 3 tanks and a Raven.
I think to make the best of the scenario is for Alex to shockwave them into base. And maybe, just maybe, lane left will play its role.
Although, keep in mind,
Amigo
Base-
shockwaves them
Amigo
almost
did
into
it
the
for
base.
Alex, but
once the 2 towers are down, the base does only a small fraction of its normal damage.
Yeah.
So,
Sabre6 here looks like they only got a minute left in this season until it's all goodbye.
Here comes the siege. For the win.
I can hear them giving each other high five next door. Red Alert. Ready to move on. We're ready to advance to the next level. To the bracket match.
and if I were them, I'd stop shooting the base and kill the last 2 ships.
Or
First
try to
get
kill
more
one
points.
ship and then kill the base for the max
I
point.
mean, Red Alert at this point doesn't really need to worry about points.
Are they
stage.
guaranteed at this point?
Yeah, they were going on regardless of the outcome of this game. It was really a matter for Sabre6 to get back into it. But
Well-
GG, and thank you all for casting with me.
Thank you.
Sure, man.
Good game.
I'm gonna go ahead and glance at the upgrade so we can see what we have here. So Saverf top upgrades, followed by Fast Forward, and then Amigo Deer, and then finally Praetor Alex. Oh wow, actually Yvonne was almost exactly equal with Amigo Deer on upgrades. That's interesting. Alright, well, thank you guys again,